Good morning, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant morning, and I'm just catching up on a few of the Druthers stories here and getting ready to do the Absurdity Observer section. But the main story, and probably the most important story in here this week, is that Texas is suing one of the big pharmaceutical companies, Pfizer, for misrepresenting their product. And this chap, Ken Paxton, the House actually tried to impeach this guy for bringing this case forward. Anyways, he survived that, and this lawsuit is going ahead. And the reason that it is so important is because Texas has deep pockets. Not many people can take on one of these big pharmaceutical corporations. And just as a bit of an aside before I start here, if any of you wonder if what we're doing here is having any effect, all of the articles, the people speaking out, the videos and so on and so forth, it absolutely is. That's one of the things that's taking place that is going to be a game changer, because once precedent is set, that basically paves the way for all of your lawsuits against this and any other pharmaceutical company who has misled you and misrepresented their product. But how about this? This is my new best friend. This guy, how he ever got on the stage at Davos, I will never know. But I think he is saying exactly what most of us think. Take a look.
And I appreciate the World Economic Forum providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free, we will stay free, and you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself.
Wow. And the main theme at Davos this year is rebuilding trust. Fancy that. Why would you have to rebuild trust? Oh, because you've broken every trust. All of these institutions that we thought had our best interests at heart, they have shown 100% that they are completely untrustworthy. And I would imagine, given that the uptake of the new inoculation for CV in Canada is only 15%, that possibly up to 85% of the population have now lost complete faith in these institutions and their ability to judge right from wrong and what is best for the people and what is not. And I think what you're seeing now, as I mentioned in my New Year's predictions, this is the year of disillusionment as the public suddenly realizes how wrong, how horribly wrong this great reset has gone. And just take a look around the world. Just take a look around the world, and if you think this is good governance, good order, and taking care of the public's best interests, well, wow, I have no words for you. But to me, everywhere I look, every direction I look, I see absolute disaster, disastrous planning, and horrible goal-making and self-interest, vested self-interest at work here. So anyways, just be aware that this is not whistling Dixie, this is not blowing into the wind, this is having an effect, and I don't think that we can afford to let up or stop. But the more that this information gets out, the better it is. You know, I often think that you don't have to actually convince people 100%. You have to do, in fact, what they do, and that is create doubt. So these are all of my videos are about creating that element of doubt, because when you have doubt in your mind, you will change your behavior. If you think it is unsafe to cross the road, if you have doubts that you can make it across the road safely, you will suddenly stop at the curb and start looking at both directions to make sure that it is safe to go. You've changed your behavior. And the same with this. Once you have doubt in these institutions, you will no longer start falling prey. You will just turn in a different direction and you will start behaving differently. And that's what we need, folks. That's what we need worldwide. Anyway, without further ado, let's go on with the Absurdity Observer. Links below to Druthers, and please, I would urge you all to get a subscription and help these folks to keep bringing out this invaluable information to the public. Absurdity Observer. Some of the most absurd things that have happened in recent weeks. According to new documents from the City of Toronto, the projected cost of renaming Dundas Street has ballooned to nearly $12.7 million, around double the initial estimates. The movement to rebrand Dundas gained steam in 2020, when many discovered that his namesake, Henry Dundas, is believed to have had a hand in delaying the abolition of slavery in the British Empire. But three former mayors and others have since criticised these interpretations of Dundas's history as misreadings, saying that he was actually a committed abolitionist, while Toronto City Council never mentioned that Sir George Young did anything wrong yet. The council officially voted last month to rename Young Dundas Square to Sankofa Square, a word from Ghana that means reflecting on teachings of the past. And I'm sure that we're all going to benefit from the renaming of the square, and I'm sure that Toronto residents will certainly enjoy their 7% property tax rate hike. So what's this? Oh, Canadian healthcare wait times in 2023 have reached record-breaking levels, showing a 198% increase since 1993. As indicated by a new report from the Fraser Institute, the median wait time from referral to treatment is now 27.7 weeks, marking the lengthiest wait time in the survey's history. Now, let me see, isn't this the same group of people that fired something like 15 to 20% of the nurses who didn't want to take a certain medical treatment? Is that possibly anything to do with this? Food for thought. According to a recent Statistics Canada report, occurrences of unspecified causes of death in the country have skyrocketed 300% since 2019, now making it the fifth leading cause of death in Canada. Now, what do we do in 2019, 2020, 2021? Whoa, I can't possibly think what it is that we did that would affect so many people. The Canadian government continues to bail out the mainstream media. Ottawa's 2023 Fall Economic Statement included a $129 million boost for eligible, aka mainstream, news organisations through an increase to a tax credit, allowing them to now claim up to $29,750 per journalist. Well, what about all the independent media outlets on YouTube and Rumble and BitChute and all that kind of stuff? I find them actually more credible. I think a lot of us find them more credible than the mainstream media, and that's why they're failing, even with all of the money being poured into the open maw. The CBC cancelled the usual New Year's Eve countdown due to what the state broadcaster called financial pressures. Despite its gargantuan $1.3 billion budget, yes, that's a billion with a B, the CBC claimed that the countdown would simply be too expensive. In 2023, CBC President Catherine Tate received a salary increase of $60,000, bringing her annual salary to nearly $521,000 a year. And its actual $623,900 with bonuses. But bonuses for what? Hiring more staff? In the CBC, every assistant has two assistants. Unbelievable. If you see a film crew from the CBC show up, it's like an army of people to get one little news story. Hey, check this out. Al Gore says independent media is a threat to democracy. In a Bloomberg conference on climate change, the former US president claimed that democracy works better with mainstream media because the news all has a shared base of knowledge that serves as the basis for reasoning together. Gore also claimed that sites that encourage users to explore rabbit holes are the digital equivalent of AR-15s and they ought to be banned. Well, I'll tell you who ought to be banned is Al Gore. Right now I'm looking at about a foot and a half of snow on the ground, and we were saying goodbye to snow forever, weren't we, Al? Wasn't that what you said? I guess that's your idea of a shared base of knowledge. Your base. We know. New Mexico hairstylists are being trained under a new CDC-funded program to push flu and CV shots. Under Chair Care, oh, don't you like that little name? A program funded by the CDC, New Mexico hairstylists are now being paid and trained as trusted messengers to promote CV-19 and flu inoculations, especially to minority and conservative clients with low inoculation rates. Oh, so that's why you shut my business down as a barber, because I was a trusted messenger and you were scared that we might be sharing the real truth. Whoa, lots from Canada this month. Health Canada paid social media influencers to encourage CV inoculations. Public Health Agency Canada paid a marketing agency called Mr. and Mrs. Jones to dish out approximately $10,000 to each influencer they hired. I mean, how dirty and underhanded can you get? This is the government spending your money to get you to take something which has been shown to be neither safe nor effective. And wow, isn't this just out of the Trudeau's workbook? The Trudeau government puts tampons in men's bathrooms. Well, you know, I need a tampon like a hole in the head, and I guess if I had a hole in the head, I'd need a tampon to put in it. The new policy requires all government offices and employers to provide free menstrual products for their employees in all washrooms, including men's, at an estimated cost of $116 million over the next 9 years. And whilst you're going broke from inflation and the high cost of living, these buffoons are spending this kind of dough on changing street names and putting tampons in men's bathrooms. Well done. Well done. And then you wonder why 42% of the population don't vote. Now this is really sad and tragic. 3-year-olds were sent to Britain's infamous transgender clinic. A report from the Daily Mail exposes the absurdity of London's Tavistock Clinic. Between 2010 and 2020, 382 children aged 3 to 6 were referred to Britain's Tavistock Transgender Services. In the last decade, the clinic saw more than a 2,500% increase in the number of child and adolescent patients seen in a year. Fortunately, the Tavistock Clinic is closed at this time, and they are facing a lawsuit from over 1,000 families for misdiagnosing their children and causing enormous harm, including the removal of healthy body parts. Can you say Auschwitz, anyone? Can you say Dr. Mengele, anyone? This is absolutely disgusting. An FOIA request uncovering Health Canada's contract with Pfizer exposes their liberal use of the word safe. The partially redacted contract, and check the link here, shows that the authorities had no idea what the long-term effects of the mRNA inoculation would be when they signed this contract. Yet after signing, they told Canadians aged 6 months and up to take a CV inoculation because it was deemed safe and effective. Yep, they also think Health Canada is safe and effective. Good luck with that. No need to wonder why food prices are increasing. An Ontario Carleton County farmer's 1-month natural gas bill has gone viral, showing a whopping $16,050 federal carbon tax charge. Are you kidding me? And I'm so glad that the researchers in the UK have a sense of humour. UK researchers are raising the alarm that humans are contributing to global warming by breathing. Scientists at the UK Centre for Ecology and Hydrology claim that human breathing contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, urging caution in the assumption that emissions from humans are negligible. The peer-reviewed study, published in PLOS One, found that the UK population collectively breathes out about 1,100 tonnes of greenhouse gases, methane and nitrous oxide every year, and reminded us that our farts or flatus emissions are likely to increase these values significantly. Okay, I'm stopping breathing and farting right now to save the planet. How does that sound? Moderna monitors 150 million websites for anti-vaccine narratives. Moderna's disinformation department partnered with an industry-backed non-profit, the Public Good Projects, to monitor and suppress dissenting voices on CV inoculation policy, according to a new report by Unheard. A stunning Japanese study that has now been published and peer-reviewed suggests that all CV variants were engineered in engineered in biolabs and intentionally released upon humanity? The study published in Zendo, titled Unnaturalness in the Evolution Process of the SARS-CoV-2 Variants and the Possibility of Deliberate Natural Selection, noted that perfect reversions of mutations on such a scale, in addition to the lack of non-functional mutations, is completely implausible by any natural process. And hey, check this out. Dr. Robert Kadlec, former US Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Fauci's superior, admits to Sky News Australia that he conspired with Fauci to downplay the CV lab leak theory and reveals that he is agonizing over his actions. Well, I guess you are, buddy. What a shocker this is. A new Norwegian public health study published in Cambridge University Press finds the incidence of CV was 40% higher in those who wore masks than those who did not. And I'm going to leave a link below to a CDC study about Spanish flu back in 1918, that more people died of bacterial pneumonia from wearing dirty masks than they actually died from the Spanish flu. So there is this just confirming that wearing of masks is not safe at all. A study calling for uninoculated people to be barred from public venues has been exposed as fraudulent. Furthermore, the study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal, titled Impact of Population Mixing Between Inoculated and Uninoculated Subpopulations on Infections, Disease Dynamics, Implications for CV Transmissions, was authorized by a Pfizer advisor. Researchers Joseph Hickey, PhD, and Dennis Rancour, PhD, published their own peer-reviewed study calling out the aforementioned fraudulent one. They found that Fishman's mathematical models are flawed, offering no true scientific backing for the imposition of anti-uninoculated public policy. There you go. Follow the science. Follow the science. Trust the science. Thank you, Joseph Hickey and Dennis Rancour. And thank you for joining me on this journey through the absurd. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and that you will start reading or continue reading Druthers and keep yourself appraised of what is actually going on in the world around you. So there is not much else to say except for be brave, stay calm, wait for the signs. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.